Lockdown, COVID, last-minute flights out of the States, nothing can stop us.
Amen.
Welcome back to another episode of the greatest podcast on earth, Old Bull Young Buck. My name's David Mundy and with me is my best mate, Griff. How are you, mate?
Hi, Dave. How you going, mate? It's a bit of a whirlwind last couple of days, isn't it? But here we are. We're in the Olsen Hotel. Penthouse suite, I think this is.
This is your room, isn't it?
This is mine. They gave me the penthouse, booked it out for the week for me. So we'll hold the pod here, and we've got a nice view of the city. And
well, thanks for hosting us, mate.
No worries, mate. No, that's fine.
Up, part of the wing of your apartment here for however long we're here. But do you want to talk us through what the last couple of days has entailed?
Yeah. So pretty full-on week, a quick one. Kind of. I don't want to give everyone the full rundown of it because it'd probably take too long. But long story short, started with our day off Tuesday. Woke up to a few texts saying we've got a emergency video meeting, video call, Zoom, WebEx for a whole club. It was basically summed up as pack your bags. We're heading to Melbourne for a minimum of 2 weeks, and took a while to get there. A couple buses from the club to the airport. I was on a bus that kind of got there early, then stuck on the tarmac. I think you had a different story. Bus got lost.
Yeah, I was on the other bus. Got lost on the way to the airport from the club, which is incredible. Hard to believe.
Wilson had a few good words for the bus driver.
On the back row with a few ideas of what to do for the bus driver.
But we're here nonetheless. Weather's good so
it's
far.
Great. It has been great.
It's been actually quite nice. How are you feeling about Melbourne?
Yeah, so it was a bit of a scramble, as you said, getting out. There's a lot of things to organise, particularly for myself and the other guys with families back home, families and pets and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's been, but after pretty hectic days, it's been a nice kind of settle into Melbourne. So keen to get back into a bit of routine and dominate this pod with you.
Yep. Cheers.
So our last one was with Shawnee Swaggy Darcy.
Big swag, yeah. It was funny, wasn't it?
It was great. It was a good chat. What was your main takeaway from Big Swag?
Clearly we don't want to call this farm a hobby farm, that's for sure.
Sorry, as you mentioned it, I had to.
Did see his old man.
Yeah, I saw his old man after the Collingwood game, and I promised him I'd issue a retraction.
Yep.
So it's clearly not a hobby farm. It's a well-established
disclaimer: do not call farmers farms hobby farms.
It is an established large farm, which they live on and love, and clearly label as a farm. So again, apologies.
Yep,
bad info.
That's fine. Big fellas, too big, too strong. And clearly there is a bit of traction gaining from the podcast, and that once you come on, you have a good performance on the weekend. We've seen in weeks gone by, and
we're just stacking them.
So on top of that, after that result that we saw, a good friend of mine came to me and said, mate, I want to get back to me best. I want to get on the podcast. I want to get the 4 points and play some good footy. So my good friend, the big fella, the big mooseman, welcome, mate.
Welcome.
How are you?
Thank you. Thank you.
You have to be careful with that. Yeah.
No, easy
Careful
on
the wrist.
Fragile these days. Thanks for having me. It's been a big few days in Melbourne. I just said, big long flight, a lot of time on the bus, barely had time to think. And all of a sudden yesterday, Griff throws this on me. So look, I'm a bit underprepared, but excited for the challenge.
It's good, mate. We started with Moose. Let's just start with that. Where does the Moose come from, the nickname?
The Moose, unfortunately, no great story. The old man was nicknamed Moose by his younger brothers when he was a kid, and that sort of stuck.
Any origin behind that, or just?
No, it was stemmed from like the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. Probably a bit too old for you, Griff, but Dave probably
definitely
knows.
Too old.
And it just stuck from when he was a kid. And when I got to a certain age, all of his mates and my mates just stuck with it, and then it's made its way over here.
Any other nicknames from the junior days, or is it just Moose for you?
Oh, just Moose, I think. Peasy. PZ is a shortened term of that.
PZ.
Peasy.
too easy peasy. Nice. Don't mind that. But you mentioned your old man, Moose, and that's the origin of the nickname. And you're a tall fellow. You'd probably be a lot taller than the average bloke, 198 to 200 centimetres, give or take. Shoes.
I think you round up.
Let's not put it too far. But your old man's about 5'7", 5'8". Your mum wouldn't be any taller than that. She'd be 5'4", 5'5". Is there a?
They may be 5'10".
Is there a tall milkman in Tasmania? Are we missing something here? Because you're a monster.
You're not the first one to ask that question, okay. But look, a couple of my uncles. I've got an uncle who's about literally 5'4", and Nan's about 4'10". But there's a couple of family members who are over 6 foot, 6'2", maybe. A couple of uncles on mum's side. So
You must feel a bit out of depth here because you're not too tall at all.
Well, you're the smallest of the drum from around this little table, mate.
Big trio, the animals, the buck, the bull, the moose. So.
3 key defenders, really. If you take things back a while.
Drafted as a fullback, mate.
Yeah. You're only you're a third tall, really, Griff.
Third tall. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'll let you get away with it because it's underprepared. But anyway.
So you mentioned you're 201. You reckon now is that with hair up on top of the head? Is that why you're growing it?
Geez, I reckon the hair puts it to 205.
Yeah, if I can get it right up top. The hair's probably for the weight a bit more than anything as well. It gives me extra kilo, I think, now. But
it's quite long now. How long's it been growing out for?
Years. A few years. Yeah, look back at photos. I think 2 years ago I was playing with like the headband on with it sort of reasonably long. And then, now she's down past the shoulders.
Did you draw some inspiration from seeing myself grow it out for the first three years at the club? Is that what it was from?
Probably, yeah.
I haven't drawn any comparisons to you back in your long hair days. I'm pretty happy about. Sort of sits. I feel like it sits a bit nicer than your sort of sideshow bob type setup to the sides. But like yours was nice. I loved your hair. It was good.
Yeah, mate. No worries.
Any plans on going back to the short back and sides of just drafted moose?
No, I don't think so.
That was a sharp moose as well.
It was slick. I used to pride myself on the short back and side.
What was it? Every 2 weeks kind of job, or
no, not quite that long. I used to love Olivier Giroud, the ex-Arsenal striker. He used to run a very slick salad.
Yeah,
actually went and watched him in a off-season trip. So I used to run that, but now it's I don't think there's any going back.
One of my first memories of the moose, thinking back, was short back and sides, plying his trade down at Peel at the Oval there, and about 75 kilos, ringing wet, getting a fist in. So
it wasn't real big. Hadn't seen many gyms back in Tassie in the early days.
Not much in Tassie at all, was there? No, there wouldn't be many gyms to kind of get to.
So on the weekend we had a great win against the Pies. Welcome another win, our first win in Melbourne for a little while, and one of the big absolute elite stats coming out were the two of you playing your first game together. How was that, playing with Griff in particular?
It was really good. There's so many people that have came to me during like the week when they heard out and were like, I just can't believe that that's happened. Like, you've been here 5 years. And to think that we probably debuted when I went out with unwon injuries, and then
would have been around the time,
it was really nice, to be honest. We're really close mates, and obviously we train alongside each other all the time. Well, sometimes.
The stars aligned, so it was it was great, wasn't it?
We were thinking there was a bit of a curse on.
We think there was. Everyone kept coming up to us during the thing, and I said, "Stop talking about it."
When
even before flying out, I kind of said to myself, "I'm not going to mention it. Let's just wait till we get to game day because someone up there is waiting for a curse." But hey, got through it for now. So,
did you ever get close to crossover before? Because you've obviously both had a lot of injuries.
Oh, I don't know.
There was last 2 years ago, and was the last time we played Collingwood. That was when I was coming back from a hammy, I reckon, and ended up fizzling away. The curse was lifted so far.
Yeah, we got that down south the weekend before, destroyed the Horcrux, and then all of a sudden, bang, we're back.
We love our Horcrux killing.
Yeah, nice. And probably the biggest beneficiary of you two being in the same team, Lukey Ryan. He would have been stoked that he didn't have to wrestle the Gorillas anymore.
Gotcha.
So happy. He did a bit of wrestling last year at times, and he can obviously do it. He's all Australian as a big boy, but I think he likes playing the smaller fellas and just rolling off.
You love releasing the shackles on Lukey Ryan and get to roll on the ball and.
Well, Lukey and Nath Wilson both had big games on the weekend,
yes.
So clearly it's a good...
Mate, so did you, not just the backs. Thanks for giving the love for the backs.
Oh, thanks,
you had a big game as well.
I appreciate the effort.
He always has big games. Mate.
No, it's weird, isn't it? I think if you're in midfield, if you're in the midfield for 70% of the game, you're going to have a big game, aren't you?
Well, I think we...
Is that how it works?
Yeah, well, I think we discussed a couple of weeks ago your inability to recognise what's going on outside the 50, but...
Thanks.
In particular, the Ruck Dogs.
Yeah.
Moose, how did you evaluate the Swaggy and Grundy show?
It was good to watch, very good to watch. They were trading blows there for a while. A couple of times when Grundy got forward and he kicked a couple of goals, I hit him up at one stage, I reckon. You hate when you see the big ruckman trailing in on it and letting his big man fly. But
it's more than trailing. It's a lumbering comment.
Yeah, you know they're struggling when there's like a set shot and you're on the goal line, you're trying to find the ruckman and they're at the other 50 like wandering down. But no, Big Shawnee's playing very well, and that last quarter, I think Grundy might have kicked one, but then Shawnee got the next two centre clearances and
Nice strong mark down.
answered back and had the shoulders back and he was strutting back to his mark like this.
Bit of swag about it. Yeah,
he
it's
loves
good,
it.
wasn't it?
Swag.
Very, very moose like that shoulders back posture with the strut. That was good,
what I
wasn't
try
it?
and
Very
find.
upright, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good way to be. So
And Pfeiffer laid out, but Bewley in, no worries. Not a bad little change there.
Clutch Bewley.
Backed him in the whole way.
big, powerful left boot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about left footers, you just got to
Oh.
back in sometimes. The power that they can generate from the weird looking ball drops.
Left
Just
footers from the left side pocket just started on the right post and it comes back nicely.
Yeah, they look nice.
got
Don't
to
they?
talk to it sometimes. So
And the other standout from our game against the Pies, probably Liam Henry, really growing into some confidence.
crafty,
Yeah.
real crafty. Couple goals.
Just good when he gets a footy. His pressure's been quite good. I think it works well. Like him and Shooter and Switter up there and Trav, they're pretty dangerous, quick forward line. But you just saw when Liam gets a footy, sometimes he just does some nice things. He's got that little bit of class.
Yeah, and I think early in that game made some really big contests against bigger opponents where we just needed him to make a contest, bring the ball to ground, and he's able to do that. And then, as you said, when he gets ball in hand, he just shines a bit more. So it's nice,
Good.
isn't it?
Good win.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Next one, absolutely.
Anyway, we touched on Tassie. Footy in Tassie, Moose. What's that like? Cold?
Cold.
Long sleeves? Did you ever don them?
I did actually run the long sleeves.
Would you do it again? It's probably not something you do nowadays.
Look, I've thought about it, like especially going back into the homeland, like because it's my roots, like playing with the long sleeve. I feel like I might be able to just the energy of pulling one back on. But to be honest, you'd know Barrow, like we're in a group with the old few ex-Dockers boys like
you wouldn't
Dawson,
be forgiven,
Barlow, Sub and Ibbotson, and they're just critical of anyone who wears long sleeves.
Yeah, they're hot on it real
I
quick.
think it's a sign of weakness. And so, look, maybe, but I'm not sure whether I could handle the feedback from those
Scrutiny.
guys, to be honest.
The scrutiny.
Yeah.
Probably fair enough. So. Devonport Footy Club, is that the...
Oh, no. I played there for my last year.
That's your draft. Yeah, that's where you got drafted from.
So my last year. So I grew up in Alberton and played all my footy there. And then to play the under-18s, like the state footy, we had to move to a state league club. So Alberton weren't in the state league.
Right.
So I sort of held off as long as I could. And then that last year got forced to go. And then, play with the Magpies, they were.
Who's the Alberton mascot?
It's a Robin, a cocky Robin.
The Cocky Robins. Yeah, look out. That's an interesting one.
What is that meant to be?
Robin?
Yeah.
It's actually, I'll show you a photo. It's
I
very
know
nice.
what a robin is, but like, if you're in Tasmania,
unique.
just make it a bomber or something. Like, I don't know.
There's plenty of Bombers. There's plenty of Magpies. There's plenty of everything Blues. There's actually the Dockers there as well, but it's unique. I haven't heard of Robin before.
Fair enough.
Unique, great footy club.
Key forward, back in the junior days. Swingman.
Midfielder. And then transition. Yeah.
What?
On baller.
Go on.
Was often taller
Listening.
was often taller than the ruckman that played on ball. And then when I got about 16, 17, started playing a bit more forward and back. Played some senior footy at Devonport in the midfield and then ended up forward and back.
Most snags as a forward.
Hit 12 out of the guts in school footy, but that doesn't really count.
All right.
12,
School,
that's cute.
Tassie school.
12's 12, though. Pick 37 in the 2013 draft.
That's correct.
Any other big names? Who went alongside?
That draft?
Anyone you picked before? Anyone? That...
Well, that draft was the best draft that Tassie have ever had. I think we had 8 drafted.
Oh, talk about
hang
Tassie.
on,
This is
hang
national
on.
draft.
Who are the others?
Getting back to Tasmania. Toby Nankervis, a good mate of mine. He was there. The College Asney brothers. Ben Brown was actually that draft. A good mate Brady Gray came to the Dockers
These all
as well.
still Tassie.
All Tassie.
Yeah.
All Tassies. There's a few more. Eli Templeton.
Yep.
Saints. Zachy Webster. The Hawks for a little bit, but yeah, I think it was the most we ever had.
And the
so,
big Moose
Look out.
and the
over to the west.
We won the Div 2 title that year as well.
Div 2.
Against New South Wales and
Good to
Div
go.
T in Queensland. Well,
It's nice to get the best one out of a big crop like that, isn't it?
It's good. Yeah, we've got him.
T-Nank's got 2 flags, but
Oh, yeah. Probably got you there then. So second best.
I didn't want to bring that up.
Second best.
Still.
So came to Freo, came from draft from Devonport, which you're a bit sad about. Anyway, Olsen, let's go. Debuted for Luke McFarlane's injury.
yes.
How do you remember your debut? Well,
Pretty well.
who'd you play?
We played Essendon at home
Yep.
on I think it was a Saturday night from memory. And Yeah, I remember like at training, Luke was a little bit touch and go, and then I think he sort of came to me in the gym afterwards and was like, "Look, I think I'm done. I think you're in."
You look in your eyes and go, "You're ready."
Pushing him down those stairs. Helped, yeah.
So I said, "I know you are." Anyway, yeah, that was when we were flying. 2015, I think we won our first 10 on the trot, and this was about round 5 when I came in.
Right.
Played with Joey Danaher actually, but yeah, we got the job done.
Put him to sleep?
Oh, yeah, you might keep one.
That's all right.
Maybe.
Still got the 4 points though, so who really won that? Speaking of injuries, McFarlane's injured. You have overcome a few injuries so far. A few questionable treatments, drinking bone broth.
Yes, this
Do
time.
you confirm?
Yes, bone broth, home brewed bone
Make it
broth.
yourself.
This time last year. So, yeah, after the last injury, the broken ankle against Collingwood and the subsequent surgeries, I started about early, last year, start of, whatever it was, 2020. Bought a slow cooker, did some research on how to make bone broth. I'd read a couple of articles of different sportsmen using it. It's just like, so I'd go to the butchers and ask for
The worst bones possible.
different ask for joint bones because there's a bit of the cartilage around there. It's quite good, and then some marrow bones cut up. I used to go to the butcher. He'd know I was coming. He'd go, "Yeah, bone man." He'd get them ready for me.
The bone man.
Bones. You'd be calling him Bones as well. Bones.
And then the method was you had to cook them first, so like oven at about 240, like really cook the guts out of them for about an hour, half hour, and then chuck them in the slow cooker, a bit of vinegar to help break down some of the bones a bit more, a few veggies for a bit of taste, a bit of what else, a bit of garlic I think, and some other just random stuff. Cook it for 2 days, 48 hours, cook the absolute guts out of it, and then strain it out. So what I used to do, I went and bought these like glass mugs.
Mate, do you have email? I want you to email me the rest
making
of this,
me hungry.
rest of this ingredient
Right.
list far out.
So I used to pour the stock, the broth into these mugs, and you had to wait and let the fat settle at the top. So then when it got to a certain point, certain temperature, there'd be the fat sort of crusted at the top.
What should you do with
You
that?
have to scoop that all
Get
out.
the spoon out.
And no, I didn't even do that. Scoop all that out. It actually turned to like jelly due to I think it was the collagen in the bones. So it's literally scoop it out. You could eat it like
the fat would turn to it, or the actual broth?
stuff. The broth was jelly.
So you eat this gelatin bone
So
broth.
I kept it in the fridge and then would microwave it and then just drink it like a nice tea. And then when we went on the hub,
did it taste like a nice tea?
it wasn't bad.
Oh.
It was like a weak stock. But on the hub, brought my slow cooker with me. Didn't have an oven, so microwaved the guts out of the bones, and then kept it.
I was going to ask if it tasted any nice because, on Hub 1 last year, I think you're on the same level as I was in the hotel, and you had the slow cooker going in the common room of that level, and it absolutely
it reeks.
stank.
Does it reek?
The cooking process probably isn't great.
But it tastes all right.
Tastes all, yeah. It's just like a beef stock, I guess, a weak beef stock.
Yeah, all right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the bloke who made me bring up the bone broth and still disgusted by it this day was Tabs. You close with Tabs? Would have been fun playing on him through the pre-season. Is it any good battles from there? Been good mates with him for a long time.
Yeah. So he was drafted a year before me and sort of, I guess, took me under his wing, I guess, for the start of my time.
Can we ask, first day of training, did he spray you? This is, you said that he was drafted a year before you. You've got there. It's your first day of training.
Yeah, I stayed with him
and
the host family for the
slept
first
through
2
his
weeks.
alarm, and he sprayed you for being late to your first day for not waking him up.
Yeah, so it wasn't. There's been a bit of mayo on this story. I don't think it was actually first day. It was first couple of weeks though, when I was still very much
still new to it. Yeah.
Nervous, little skinny white Tasmanian man, and didn't get much sleep Saturday night. And then Sunday was like tired and went to sleep like pretty early and did set an alarm. And then Monday morning, I've sort of woken up. I'm not the best in the morning, but by that stage, I was too scared to sleep in.
Yep.
So I was sort of up and ready, and the clock was sort of ticking down a bit, and I was like, shit, like.
By up and ready though, from what we've told, you was just kind of sitting ready as if you're going to school. He's got his backpack on.
He didn't have the back. That is the main.
He's sitting on the couch going, just swinging his feet going, when are we going? I can't wait for training.
So when Tabs tells this story, I've got my backpack on, all my gear on, sitting on the end of his bed, looking, staring at him. But the actual story was, I may have been out in the living room, I think, but like I was sort of ready and I was like really weighing up, oh, do I wake this big sort of weird unit up or what do I do? And eventually he's woken up and we were running late, which wasn't it. Yeah, sort of expected really when you live with Tabs. And then we just shot down South Street, bus lane the whole way there, snuck in. Like by that stage, we'd have a meeting at the start, so you could sort of slink in around the toilets and get your gear on and sort of stroll in.
So he showed you the ropes early, didn't he?
So he sort of snuck me in, and then as soon as we get in there, he's like, I think he found Tommy and Cam and a few of the boys. He's like, you wouldn't believe what this big weird Tasmanian bloke's done to me. Sitting on the end of my bed like I wasn't sitting on the end of the bed.
So not much has changed in Tabs' tenure anyway. Sneaking in.
Punctuality is not
hasn't
improved too much.
That's great. So yeah, he's obviously a hard man to deal with and hard man to play on anyway.
He's a good man to play on. So I pretty much, between early days, it was like him and Pav were the sort of two I played on.
Pretty good people to most, to be honest, if you're
very good
aspiring defenders.
Well. Yeah, and then like Tabs, I still think he's probably the hardest guy to play on. Like I played on a few big boys around the league and that, but how hard he works and like how strong he is in a contest and how he just never gives up really. There's a few big boys that when things don't go their way, they crack the shits a little bit, but he's always one who has a crack. You just
pretty much answered your question for me then. Would you say he's the hardest bloke across the league then?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, always. Yeah, we always look for each other at training because I feel like that's part of the reason why I've been able to develop like I have is to play on someone like him who just competes all the time. We'll do marking after training and that as well, and it gets pretty heated. There's a few times I've nearly come to blows, but not yet. But I reckon we haven't really had a pre-season for the last couple of years fully together. But I reckon the next full pre-season we might have a bit of fisticuffs, which would be good.
Fisticuffs are always fun.
Bit of argy-bargy, no doubt.
That's the way to go. Finally, for me, is one thing that you pride yourself on, not pride yourself on, but it's a good thing that you should be proud of, is the leadership group, and you've been in there for
number of years.
Don't even know. Number of years now. 4 years?
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been going on for a while. You've got Dave you take him under your wing for that? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, Alex's been a good member of our leadership group. How do you find that dynamic?
It's been good. It's I guess you get to see the club from a different point of view and see the team through a different lens, and sort of your outlook changes a little bit more rather than focusing on what you're going to do and how you're going to get better. You have to sort of tweak that a little bit and still give yourself the challenge is still give yourself enough to enough priority
sort your own backyard out kind of thing,
to be a good player, but then also be able to monitor how the team's looking. How can we try and change the vibe of the group? If we're struggling, what can we do? What are different individuals that are struggling a bit at the time with form or injury, and how can we get the most out of them? It's quite good and quite fulfilling, some of the stuff we get to do. So I definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, good.
That's good.
We'll move into a section now called Quick Hands. This is where I'll fire some quick questions at you. We want really sharp, pointy answers back, and we'll fly through these. So, Are you ready?
Go.
Last time you called your mum?
A week ago.
Ooh, last meal on earth, what would it be?
It's just seafood, lots of it.
Any pre-game routine?
Nah, pretty heavy music beforehand.
Like that. Best sleeper, you or Lockie Schultz?
Schultzy, yeah. I'm good, but not that good.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Good man.
Ooh, probably the same question, but Tassie or Perth?
Tassie.
Unbelievable.
Are you a good cook?
Very good.
Coffee of choice?
Long Mac topped up.
Nice. Number 25, any reason?
It was the lowest number available. It's a strong, powerful number, 25.
Jezelenko.
Quarter of 100.
Jezelenko, Fev.
Used to love Fev.
How much do you bench?
Max, I'm a bit sore at the moment, but like 135.
Your first car?
Ford Mondeo.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Whoa, that's a tough one.
Star Wars, but I'm a Trekkie as well.
Go-to snack preference?
Chocolate snack.
Most used emoji?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Nice.
I liked how you mentioned seafood
Mm.
because there is a true story of you. It's an American trip. It's a roadhouse.
Here we go.
This is a true story
True
as well.
story.
So it's American trip, roadhouse. I don't know what state it was in.
Alabama.
There you go.
Back streets of Alabama.
Anyway, and there's unique burgers to choose from, pizzas, chips, whatever, like maybe even steak.
I think it was like a servo, like diner.
Either way, it's like
Classy
shocking
establishment.
diner. Like it's terrible.
Oh, it's authentic, Alabama.
Either way, Tabs has told me that him and Tommy kind of just went for wings, chips, burgers, whatever. Just this standard kind of generic stuff as you would. Moose has had a little scoop through this menu and gone,
Swizz.
I want that, please. Can you tell the listeners what it was?
It was catfish, a whole catfish cooked. So to get your way through the bones and the skin.
An
Clean
entire
out the
catfish
skin.
is on his plate. You had the choice from between. Like it's
Beautiful.
white.
Weren't real close to the ocean there, but I'm sure there's lakes around.
Is that the first catfish you've eaten?
I think so, yeah. I do like to try new things and seafood man, and yeah, I'll try anything once.
Right. That's an interesting choice, though. What did it taste like?
It's not bad, yeah. The skin was a bit, I remember being a bit crunchy, but it was good.
Would you have it again?
Yeah, go again.
Catfish broth. Go down the menu.
Yeah, get the bones. Yeah.
Cook the guts out of that one. See how you feel then. Something I want to touch on is music, Moose. You're a true fan of music. Always rolling around with band T-shirts.
It's actually the Great Gable hat on at the moment.
Bunbury
Very good.
Band, for anyone that
Bunbury
knows.
Band. Yeah, it's a very good band.
Try
I watched them a couple
to
weeks ago.
try to drag me along to that as well, and I had to turn it down.
Shout out to Alex Whiteman, lead singer, very good man. Yeah.
All right. Can you give us your favourite artist? It's tough, but can you give us one
Yeah.
artist that you would listen to for the rest of your life?
Oh,
Got a nice record player at home. What are you chucking on?
look, it is tough, but Gang of Youths are probably my favourite. I've seen them live a few times.
Yeah.
Got a couple of their records. New song they released.
Live at Splendors, probably.
Oh, Splendor's looking. Yeah, that's their live set at Splendor's. Gets played on YouTube quite a bit.
Yeah,
It's
it's fair enough. Is
new
that
song at the moment as well. It's quite good. Angel of Eighth Ave. Check that out, listeners.
I actually had a listen. Your favourite music festival that you've been to?
Falls Festival in Tasmania was actually. This is a pretty sad story. It was actually on a 8-year. 8 years in a row, I was going to Falls Festival before COVID ruined it last year. So I was going for the decade, 10 in a row, and then COVID got in the way.
Well,
COVID's taken a lot from us.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever recover from that. But
A lot promised, none worse than that.
You're well known for your band T-shirts and apparel at the club.
Mm.
You got your San Francisco jumper with you as well today. Do you own any other apparel that's not Fremantle branded that isn't band related?
Oh, yeah, I've got a lot of stuff in my wardrobe, too much, but there's a fair chunk of it which is band tees. And I try to limit myself to only buying sort of band tees or merch these days. Don't know why, it's just
support your local.
Yeah, it's good.
yeah,
It's a good way to be.
I had a tough 12 months for local artists, so support them, buy some merch.
But being such a big fan, you'd know a fair bit about music, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't-
I don't like where this is going,
This
but
is leading question.
There was a bit of a notorious countdown. A lot of people are aware of, and one of the boys, Brendan Cox, said, "Mate, is this song? Do you reckon it's in the top 10?" And you looked him in the eyes, and you said, "There was a betting market for it," and you said, "This is in the top 10, mate.
yeah,
Put your kids in the car you're home because it's in the top 10."
scoured the market and found some actual value, and said, "This is."
Either
the
way,
one."
you looked your brother in the eyes and said, "It's going to be in the top 10, mate. Just
double down.
double down." Where'd it come in?
It was Circles by Post Malone. We were sitting in Joel Hamling's pool waiting for it to come on. It came in at 11.
Yeah, it's a bad beat.
Another heartbreak.
Gamble
Shocking
responsibly.
bad beat. Another one, big signing for us. Number one ticket holder, Tame Impala. Must get you up and about.
Huge
The
news.
posture would be straight up and shoulders back after that.
Stiffened up when I saw that.
You got to show 'em around
Got-
one of the weeks as well.
yeah.
Probably the first link between the club and Tame Impala. I think you would have DM'd about 100 times saying, "I love your music." Love
Oh,
your
I
stuff."
think, yeah, maybe from a live show. Just,
few story reacts or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
yeah, so Lockie Schultz and I were during a game, I can't remember which game it was, whichever he missed due to concussion, got to go to the box where Kevin and his crew were sitting and just sort of watch a quarter and have a bit of a chat.
How
It was
good.
Quite good.
How-
Starstruck.
More nervous for the pod than you were speaking to Kev, or
Oh,
how'd you go?
You've got a presence, you two, but not quite as much as Kev. Not quite.
Fair enough. Aside from you then, best music taste of the club?
Well, Lockie Schultz, I reckon, was quite good. His life as a tradie. He used to do a lot of music, I think. So yeah.
Can you give me the worst taste in music?
Well, there's a few to pick from.
We had one on the podcast last week. Who
I reckon,
It's probably going to be him. If
Look,
he jumps on the aux cord, you probably
name a couple. But like Luke Valenti and Stefan Gyro give me the shits with their amount of rap they play. But there's just Sean Darcy. There's just nothing
Swag
like it.
And as you said, he dominates the aux cord in the gym.
I think it's
Hogs
the way
out,
he carries on when it goes on. Though.
dances,
a lot of
sings.
people kind of enjoy music for what it is. Some might pop and lock. You know, I've seen him pop and lock into a bit of Sea Breezy before, Dave, but that's fine. But
Just a little bit.
But Sean Darcy kind of, he wants eyes on him when he's.
He wants eyes on.
He's not doing it for the music.
Yeah,
So
it's real mainstream R&B or some like so fresh summer hits of 2012. It's not good.
You'll definitely know he's back when it's on.
in their defence, so fresh summer hits are some of the best CDs go around. Let's not be honest. I remember the 2005 Maroon 5. It's pretty good.
And Moose, you're heavily involved in some men's health programs. You're the ambassador for a number of different organisations. You want to talk to us about that?
Yeah, so I'm ambassador with
Today, Junior.
ambassador with Youth Focus, who just do support around youth mental health, and they run some counselling for sort of like kids, and they run some programs. There's one in particular I do some work with sort of men between sort of 16 and 24, which I love doing. I'm also a patron at Fremantle Mind, which runs some community sort of mental health interactions about sort of preventative treatments for dealing with mental health. And it's something that in my sort of journey as a footballer dealing with injuries, I've struggled with my own mental health over the time. So due to I've been able to get through that with the great support from the club and family and whatnot, and I've learnt quite a lot during all that time. So it's a really good opportunity to be able to sort of give back a little bit and try and sort of help where I can.
Yeah, good. And you are an already paid up member of the Jack Jumpers, is that right?
Yeah,
NBL
so
side coming to
Tasmanian
Tassie?
Jack Jumpers. Yeah,
So that's a real team.
Soon it will be, yeah.
I saw that in the script and thought that was fake.
No,
it's actually you called it the Jack. That's what they're called.
Yeah, Jack Jumpers.
What is a Jack Jumper?
What's a Jack
Tell us
Jumper?
about a Jack Jumper.
So it's like a little like grasshopper type thing that obviously jump quite high, which is
like
quite
a little bilby or something.
quite good for like an insect.
Tiny.
Quite unique.
Like
though.
a grasshopper,
Unique-
you go from
unique
grasshopper to
Tasman-
bilby.
I just wouldn't have thought you named it after an insect. I thought nice nocturnal animal.
Once again, why follow the trend and just follow other things? Like,
The trend's your friend, mate.
Create your own. Write your own story.
This is why
as
Tasmania's
Ross would
going
say.
backwards and
Oh,
downwards.
yeah.
Talk
We're
about trend
yeah.
being your friend. I mean,
I
you're
have
just
to say that.
denying everything. But anyway.
So we know you're angling to be the number one ticket holder. The Jack Jumpers Tame Impala. You can have the mic for 30 seconds. Plead your case to the Jack Jumpers down the barrel if you like.
Look, maybe not yet. Like I know where I'm at. I'm not quite up there with Ricky Ponting, David Boone, and that sort of like the Rewalds. But look, just no Jack Jumpers. I'll be there for you when you come over to Perth. I'll be there in the front row wearing white green. So that's all.
Tell
I
what
need.
colour they are. Green.
Yellow, black. Yeah.
And your first recruiting drive to help the Jack Jumpers has ultimately failed, but King Moller has gone elsewhere.
Yes, good mate of mine, Craig Moller, now at the Sydney Kings, was really hoping he'd get his way to the Jack Jumpers.
King
Played for
Moller.
Hobart for a while, led them to a title, so he's got some ties to the great state, but he's taken his talents to Germany, which, great for Craig and maybe a good off-season good trip to go visit.
Can't believe he's chosen Germany
Oktoberfest.
over Tassie, but
Look, that baffles me, but
Steins and chicken is a good draw card. And so obviously you have an overall love for sport. We know you like your football, obviously, cricket, basketball, golf. How do you go swinging the clubs?
it doesn't happen very often these days, but I did like to fancy myself as a bit of a golfer. Back in the day, if you go one back to Tassie in high school, myself and a couple of mates won a team sort of golf tournament in Tassie and got to play in Sydney, the Australian Golf Club, and ended up taking that out. So there is actually an Australian golf title.
Pretty
in
good.
my
I know we're
back
in
pocket.
We're in the Mornington Sweetie. We might have a few hero biscuits in there for you if you want those back in the I was actually a 2012 D Division 400 metres champion as well. So
it's not quite as impressive.
That's a prestigious award. So yeah.
Sorry to break it to you though. We've had a couple of our good golfers, Trevor Collier and Andy Brayshaw on, and you weren't brought up in their conversation. So how much does that sting?
Oh, it doesn't. When you don't play for a while, I'm happy to be the sleeping giant, and I've got little putting green at the back of my house, so I'll just work it behind in the shadows, just work on my stroke, and I'll know when I'm back. I'll challenge him, and we'll see.
Generally, you find with the tall, as he said, he's tall, 201. They're normally a bit unco, but to his credit, Big Moose can swing a racket, ping pong, it's a gun at that. Tennis, cricket, you would have rolled a few over, so it's pretty good areas.
And in 2020, you did a little bit of coaching. You were in the box a few times. And
and when in the hub, took over some like line coaching for the, reserves boys that we had at the time.
Yep.
Actually, just on that, the first game over in the hub, Caleb Sarong was with us, and I was coaching the midfield. So it's actually Caleb Sarong's first midfield coach in senior footy.
Did he mention you in his Rising Star?
An ex-midfielder for the Alderson...
Alderson Robins, yeah.
Alderson Dung Beetles, whatever they're called.
I think he left me out in the in his Rising Star speech, but just know that everything he's accomplished since that day has been partly due to my tutelage.
Yeah, nice.
Good man.
And you mentioned, we've come up briefly before, but you love to travel. Pre-COVID, you've travelled the world a fair bit. What's some of the best places you've been?
Yeah, a few good spots with a few good teammates. I've done Europe a couple of times. Griff and I went on quite a good trip, did a bit of Croatia, Germany. Did London early days with Tabernar, De Boer, Clark and Moller. It was a great trip.
It's a spooky crew.
Went to South America as well a couple of years ago, again with Tabs, De Boer and Sutcliffe. That was a really...
Squeak.
Wow.
That was a really good trip. Got to visit our ex-teammate Max Duffy in Kentucky and watch him for a couple of games in his college football career. So, yeah, I've been very lucky to...
Are you the reason behind his meteoric rise there as well?
Oh, look, probably not. Probably not.
Teaching him how to kick?
Yeah, I don't think us drinking beer at the pub was quite good for his career.
What are some of the pros and cons around some of your travelling companions? Griff, Tabs, Matty De Boer and Cam Sutcliffe maybe?
Yeah, right. I guess De Boer and Tabernar are very good trainers. Just like we'll get up early in the morning, go and run 10K, so they're good to just sort of cling on the back to and get through. Griffin's a bit of a life of the party. When the sort of music gets going, he pulls out that weird dance style he's got.
And a couple of cons?
Tabernar, his punctuality, as we've said, likes to lead the way and take the phone and direct us where he's going, but doesn't know where he's going.
No one believes that. Like I've showed that many a times, kind of pretending what he does, and he just gets his phone out and says... Walks in front with that weird arch back, looks down at his phone, looks behind and goes, come on.
Like when he's calling in the 50.
And it's like, and he just marches. It's not like a walk, like, oh, look at that. It's down at his phone. It's like, oh, come on, I've already done the research. Go. It's just bizarre. Like
got it. A good one with Tabs in his phone as well. When I was in Dubrovnik with him, I think it was just us two at that stage. And Dubrovnik is where Game of Thrones was filmed, King's Landing, for those nerds out there. So we were walking around the top of the wall, and we got like halfway around, and then we got stopped by a couple to take a photo of it. And I had this sort of big, fancy camera, and I've taken it and had a bit of a look, and couldn't really work out the camera. It was sort of struggling a bit, and then Tabs just took over. Oi, give it here, I know what I'm doing. And he's left his phone sitting on the wall,
ledge.
on the ledge of the wall. So
right where the mountain probably would have thrown off.
10 metre like fall to the city inside. And you got to take this photo, and then all of a sudden you just see this phone wobble at the side. And it just tips over and luckily misses someone. Otherwise it would have done some damage to someone's head. Smashes like face down. And then all of a sudden, like, there's only two ways you can get on and up and down from the wall. So I've had to stand there like and keep watch over this phone while he's like tore off a K around the wall, get down, and then it's like a maze inside to try and find it. So I'm standing here for 40 minutes just looking at the phone. Someone will come pick it up and I'm, literally, oi, get out of that. Just leave it there. Oi. For a while there, we had a few people sort of help me like look after it. Like, yeah, it's sort of still there. It's still sort of half worked. So I'm like, yeah, good. And then half hour later, they're like, oh, do you mind if we sort of keep going? I was like, yeah, just leave it there. He'll be right. And eventually comes storming through, like lost, gets it. Phone was broken for the next week until we got to a dodgy Serbian electronics shop where he's, I don't know.
He's talked his way into something.
And I think it worked for a week after that before, but I think we were getting spied on by the KGB or whatever it was at that stage. They would have seen some things.
Oh, housemates, actually. Do you know, when you first got to the club, it was Chalky
Brady Gray.
Yeah.
Jacob Ballard, another was drafted with me.
Yep.
Then went to the Fife household. The Fife Manor was there with Cam Sutcliffe for about a year and a half.
Yep.
And then Sutcliffe left, you came in, good self joined.
Wi-Fi at that stage or not?
No, still that stupid Telstra thing.
Dongle that hits. Yeah. Then I flew the coop, went to my own place.
Yep.
Had the young Hugh Dixon in there for a while. Adam Chera spent his first couple of weeks with me, so obviously everything he's succeeded in since that is partly due to myself. Josh Tracy, the start of first few weeks over, so once again, that goals he kicked the other day. It was me in the backyard telling him to keep his head over the ball, go and play his hat. And then, it's my housemate, Katie at the moment, who's the sister of Max Duffy. So she's been there for the last couple of years. So no footy boys for a lot of the time, the last couple of years, which is quite nice. Other than just the little young fellas coming in for a couple of weeks at a time.
Straighten them up.
Just straighten them up on their way.
Cheers. All right, we're on to the Blues.
Yes.
Clash take 2. So we'll be looking to avenge our last performance against them. How you feeling about the game? It could be a Moose Mackay matchup. That's what we're looking at. He's in good form.
Great form.
He is.
Very good form. Leading goal kicker of the year. Big rangy, probably same height. How you feeling? Should be a good game.
Yeah, good. Good game. Used to be a Blue supporter when I was a kid. So
Really?
the old man still is a sort of a footy in each camp. So it would be a tough one for him, I'm sure. But look, I'm excited. Blues at the G on a Saturday night.
Yeah,
Crowd.
just got confirmed today. 7:40 prime time Saturday night at the G, the home of footy.
Bring it on.
Gee whiz.
And then, Big Mackay. Watched a bit of footage, obviously, through the week. He's good player, kicking some goals. So, look, I might need to just come in front and just help me every now and then. I reckon, Loungy.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll come and
I'll make sure his knee doesn't do too much damage.
I'll be a stepladder if it means I'll be a stepladder. I've been in one of those before, and any publicity is good publicity, but happy to get in the hole for your Moose, always. So
bring him on.
So this week also coincides with the club launching a new initiative for the Vic members. Our loyal Vic supporters can now sign up and be a Vic Duo member, the Vic Duo memberships. And with that, they get a ticket to this weekend's game against Carlton, as Griff mentioned, prime time at the G, not a bad one to go to. Ticket to round 23 against the Saints, which is our final game of the home and away season this year, with obviously a few games after that for us. Plus, they get a $10 gift voucher to spend at the Freo team store. So for all of that, it's just $60 per adult, $50 for concession, and $40 for juniors. So it's not a bad little package for Vic members.
Great package.
A couple of big games.
Great package. Just no need to yell, mate. You're screaming.
Well,
that, then.
I'm bloody keen for it, mate. It'd be a good one.
$10 at the team store. You could probably buy a Pearce and a Logue little badge for that. So that's good value.
Monday's way too expensive these days. Plenty left.
We
got them on special.
Please buy them.
I think they might pay you. They might give you an extra voucher and the badge.
If we can find a 2014 Moose badge, that would be great. The short back and sides.
So Karen Pearce. Karen Pearce has got a couple at home, but they're locked away.
I'd pay much more than $10 for one of those bad boys. And we look like we might have had a couple of Tassie games, which you would have been up and about for. But I
was very excited.
Tassie government.
Yeah, next week though we're still on, aren't we? Chance.
Oh, I think that one's up in the air as well.
Up in the air, but I'll put in a call to Peter Gutland and we'll see how we go.
Just tell him we'll leave Griff here.
Yeah.
That's the worry. We'll just leave him here.
It's fine with me.
There are only certain places he can go.
Hey, no skin off my back. I don't mind. This is great. I'm in the Mornington suite. This is fantastic.
Not bad, is it?
It'll probably do us.
Yeah.
Another week, old bull, young buck. How'd you go, Moose? You enjoy it?
thought I did quite well. Yeah, a few laughs.
I'm not going to lie. I reckon, it's up there.
Absolutely. No, you're a great guest, mate. Hopefully your form really peaks after this. I'm sure it will. Hopefully continue that trend. But thanks for coming on. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
We're all sorted for the, as we said, prime time at the G, Saturday night. So, well, this is out there. Get on board.
Yeah.
Look out.
Thanks for listening. Cheers.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe.